Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another glorious episode of Brad's Bourbon Reviews, the podcast. I'm back. I know the podcast hasn't been around for quite some time, and it was honestly intentional. Let me explain myself. The foundation of my dog's here. He's very needy this week. The foundation of the Brad's Bourbon Reviews channels is reviews, and I have been doing some deep diving into color correction, into editing, into lighting, into learning how to do all of those things first. If you don't know, I have been doing podcasts since pretty much the beginning of podcasts. Not a bourbon podcast, but I have been doing podcasts for a long time. I started out doing a podcast back when I used to be a stand-up comedian called the Lower Level Podcast. Some of those episodes are still floating around out there somewhere. I don't recommend listening to them. They probably weren't good. At the time, they were funny to us, but they're probably terrible now. And then from there, I started doing a Disney podcast, and from that, it led into Jedi Talk, which is the main thing I do on the internet outside of this channel. And what I wanted to do was get really, really good at editing. I'm not saying my content is really, really good. I'm still working on that. I'm trying to find like this like balance of respecting the makers who make all this incredible bourbon and being funny, because that's usually my instinct. If you listen to Jedi Talk, you know that I'm very, very silly. And I think it would surprise a lot of people if they heard me on Jedi Talk and then watched my reviews. I think that's two pretty distinct different versions of me. But the thing is, when I'm talking about Star Wars with my friends, we're being silly and we're being stupid. I try to give the bourbon that I'm reviewing the respect because I feel like it deserves it. I feel like it takes so long to make these things, and I think me joking around about something could come off negatively. It could come off like I'm being flippant about it, and it's not, especially when someone sends me something. I would never lie about a review. Let's just say that. So I know how to do a podcast. I know how to talk. I know how to keep it going. I know how to do all of those things. The stuff that I didn't quite know how to do was editing and learning a brand new editing software from the ground up, learning DaVinci Resolve, and like kind of getting good at editing, the art of editing, and using color correction, all that kind of stuff. So I intentionally have stopped doing the podcast until now. We're back, baby, and we're not going anywhere again, because now I've kind of figured out how to do it, and a lot of my time and energy was going into doing those videos. That's why you'll see some of the new videos are like complicated for me to edit, because I'm doing a screen recording of my computer. I'm having to line that all up, and it like the bourbon tier list videos. Those were things I had wanted to do mostly as a creative exercise to see if I could actually pull it off. The first one I did not pull off very well. I didn't remember like checking my laptop in the middle of it, and I didn't edit it out. I was also terrified to edit anything, because like, okay, all the audio, it all lines up from beginning to end. Let's just leave it. I've gotten better at doing that. I can edit now. And I actually quite enjoy editing now. I didn't at first at all, but so I had been, going like, okay, I know I can turn on a microphone and I can talk into a camera and into a microphone and get through, a 30-minute episode by myself, an hour if Timmy's here. And I'm not going anywhere. The podcast isn't going anywhere. It's only going to get better. I'm going to have guests on. But now I know how to do the thing technically that I didn't quite know how to do. So if you go back and look at my videos, even from like February to the one that I put out yesterday, and now I've got it figured out. Again, I'm not saying the review, you might not like the content itself. I'm talking about the physical act of editing the video to look good, sound good, and be presentable. That's all I'm talking about. But so that's why the podcast has been on a little bit of a hiatus. No, me and Timmy did not. Oh, you okay? You hit your head on the microphone. Me and Timmy are still friends, of course. He'll be here. He was supposed to be here tonight. I'm recording this on Thursday evening. He was supposed to be here tonight, but we decided to change it to Saturday just to accommodate our schedules a little bit better, per his request. And I'm just excited to get back and do some more podcasting, because I love podcasting. It's fun. It's why I started this podcast, and it gives me an outlet and a community to talk about bourbon with, because most of my friends in real life think I'm an idiot. So, and don't care about bourbon and whiskey and stuff. So it gives me a fun little creative outlet. But that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I hope you enjoy the podcast going forward. This is not a full episode. I just kind of wanted to explain where I've been and why I've been gone for a little bit. And I know it might sound crazy, but I just didn't want to also add video or add something else to edit while I'm trying to learn how to edit those things. Oh, look, he's very sleepy. Look at that. You're very sleepy, huh? I love you. He's such a great dog. His name is Jack. Yes, I named him after Jack Daniels. It's my little buddy boy. But yeah, so that's it. I don't really have much to say other than two things. I just got a text right before I started this recording that Russell's Reserve 14 is dropping in southern Florida than here. So I have no interest in getting that. So if anyone is interested in that, let me know. I'll grab it for you. I've already told one person I'll grab it. I'm sure I'll get offered a few bottles just from people that, you know, I've made connections with in the city. So if anybody wants one, I'm not going to charge an arm and a leg for you. You'll pay what I pay. Just hit me up in the comments down below. And also the Weller Millennium. I want to talk about that for a second. I'll talk more about it with Timmy. I find this very interesting. And one thing I'm tired of people saying is that it's a cash grab. Hey, guys, everything you buy is a cash grab because companies sell things, and that's how they exist, right? Companies are there to make money. No shit, it's a cash grab. No shit, obviously. That kind of goes without saying. You don't need to say it's a cash grab. Everything's a cash grab. I'm a big Star Wars fan. You think for a second Disney's doing Star Wars content out of the kindness of their heart to appease Star Wars fans? No, they're doing it because they make a crap ton of money doing it. Duh. But this is a little different. I don't consider Weller Millennium a cash grab at all. If you look at what's actually in the bottle I'd have to go back and watch my video, but I remember I think the youngest bourbon is like 14 years old, something like that. Hang on, let me see if I can find it. So yeah, the youngest is distilled in 2006. So it's a 14-year is the youngest bourbon in that blend. That's crazy. That's nuts. That is not something that's going to be a cash grab. However, I wonder if this gets the Daniel Weller pricing. I wouldn't be shocked if this thing retails $500-$600. The bourbon industry is in an interesting place right now. It is at a crossroads where you're gonna start see prices really level out. Prices for bottles that were like $1,000 when I got into the game, like a E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof was like $750. You can now find it on secondary for like $200 or $300. Like it's still expensive, but I think you're gonna start seeing bourbon prices really slow down. And I actually have this. I'm not going to get too into it right now, but I have a video planned, not recorded yet because it's for the first video I'm ever going to write a script for and talk about. So I don't want to get too deep into it here, but I think a lot of these big distilleries are going to be at a crossroads here. And I think it's going to get interesting over the next 2 to 3 years. I'm already seeing things at Walmart. So let me just for this way. So last week I was at a drop in Orlando, and it was at a Walmart, and for $203. Granted, Walmart is like obviously the cheapest store on the planet. Like they sell, that's like the whole thing. They volume, right? So grain of salt. But for $230, I got an E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof, a Rock Hill Farms, an Elmer T. Lee, and a Stag Batch 18. Batch 18 in 2024. I'm actually curious if that's going to be something that like continues. Is this older stock of stuff? Is their stuff just sitting in the warehouses from the distributor changeover? I don't know. But I think it's going to get pretty interesting in the bourbon world over the next whiskey in general in the next few years. A lot of content creators are already talking about, not necessarily full time switching to tequila, but you're seeing that a lot. I can promise you this, it won't be me. I I have drank enough stuff in my life to know that bourbon and whiskey are my sweet spot. That's what I enjoy. That's what I'll always do content around. You'll never see top 10 añejo tequilas on this list. Maybe as a April Fool's joke or something like that, but never seriously. I don't know enough about it, and I don't care enough to know about it. It's just not my jam. But that is not shade at anyone. If you know enough about tequila and can educate people on it, that's fantastic. I'm not throwing shade at anybody at all. So don't get it twisted. I'm not throwing shade at all. But it's just not what I'm gonna do. I have a thing that I enjoy, and I'm sticking to it. So a short episode today. Again, I just wanted to kind of get caught up with you guys who are regular listeners. I had some questions come in about like, hey, what happened to the show? Another thing, it was just on hiatus. Informally, while I was figuring out how to do things with my new computer. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching and listening. If you are listening on audio only, leave a 5-star review wherever you listen to the podcast. You listen to an Apple podcast, leave a 5-star review, rate and review the show. Spotify, iTunes, Sound, whatever, wherever you listen to it, give it a rating. The reason people ask people who listen to the podcast to do that is because they will push the podcasts that have a higher engagement rating and they consider quality shows. So the more interaction engagement means it'll get boosted up. Same thing on YouTube. So if you watch a video on YouTube and you like it, genuinely leave a like. It helps out the people who made the video. And I guess that's it. I have some episodes we're going to record this weekend with me and Timmy. I haven't seen him in person in probably like 2 or 3 months. So it's I feel like it's been that long. Maybe not. Maybe it is. I think it has been. I've seen him in passing. We haven't hung out. And those are always fun episodes to do. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss those, because those are always interesting. I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for hearing me out. Thanks for sticking around, and I will see you guys on the next one. Until then, cheers.